Hello, I'm Fernando Sosa, and you're watching Mindset of Steel live show. In this show, we encourage you to crush your limiting beliefs, punch fear in the face, and take massive action in your business and your personal life by focusing on the 80% psychology and 20% strategies. Very excited today. This is episode number 32 of our weekly live show. And we have a special guest coming up in a few moments, DC Glenn from the hip hop group Tag Team. We're going to hear from him and his journey. And I'm sure you've seen him recently on a popular TV commercial by GEICO. We're going to get into that coming up next. So before I get into that, just wanted to welcome you again. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification icon so you can be notified when we go live. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. And go ahead and drop us a comment if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts. Let me know how we're doing and how you're liking the show. If you haven't checked out the website, check out the website mindsetofsteel.com, and there you can be part of the community. You can sign up, join the community. We have a private Facebook group where we have different activities going on, different things planned. We have right now we have a step up challenge going on. It's a little bit fitness related, where we're counting our steps, and we're aiming at 8,000 steps a day, and we're actually posting our daily steps and just trying to engage in that way and motivate each other to do our steps. So that's something that's happening right now. We also have our weekly 52 book challenge, which is a book challenge where we're trying to read one book every week. And every Mondays at 8 o'clock, I go live inside the private group and I go over the week, the books, the book for the week. So last week we went over Crush It by Gary Vee. Next week we're going to go over the 80-20 rule by Perry Marshall. So that's some of the things that happens inside our private Facebook group. Mindsetofsteel.com, that's where you go to sign up, and it's all free. So check us out there. So what else can I tell you as an announcement? Well, what's today? Today is May the 5th, May the 12th. And, second quarter is almost gone. And yeah, the time flies. Hopefully we'll get over this pandemic soon. And, we will continue to strive and move forward. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and jump into right away the content. I want to bring in my special guest because I'm very excited to have him here. I want him to share as much as he can in our time that we have here. So let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit about Glenn. So DC Glenn, he made musical history as a DC, the brain supreme of Tag Team, with his multi-platinum hit single and album. Whoop, there it is. I'm sure you've heard of that. I mean, it's over. You hear it over and over. It's very catchy. This multi-talented musician, producer, DJ, marketer, and all-around businessman. He has his own digital marketing agency called CLG Investments. He's also excelled in voice acting and as one of the top urban voices for Apple's iTunes Radio. In addition, he's one of the most well-known DJs in Atlanta, performing at legendary clubs such as Magic City, Atlanta Live, Cobalt Lounge, Strokers, just to name a few. So let me go ahead and welcome DC Glenn. Welcome.
What's going on, man?
Good. How are you? Good to have you here.
How you good folks doing this evening?
Good. This is an excellent way to end the day. I love it. I'm very excited to have you here, DC Glenn, and that you are, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. I mean, I saw you, in the GEICO commercial, but I know you from, I don't like give away my age, but and back in the 90s, that song was an anthem, right? It was played all over the place, even in sporting events and all. I mean, you heard it all over the place. So DC Glenn, so let me ask you a question. For people that are here watching and or listening to us on podcasts. I mean, like I said, if you own a TV, you probably already seen DC Glenn and the Geico commercial, um, and um, and where him and Steve sing a parody to the song, to the hit song. And Glenn, DC Glenn, let me ask you a question: is that song? Have you heard? Have people played that video, the Geico commercial, on when you're when if you're on an interview? Have you seen? I wanted to play it, but I don't know if it will get flagged as a copyright if I play the commercial for people who haven't seen it. Do you know?
I couldn't tell you, man. All
Right?
I know, hey, you just never know, right?
You never know.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you get away with stuff. Sometimes the thing that you really try to license or whatever you try to do, you can't. I get flagged for my own song, so it's like you just never know, man. You just have to.
You never, and sometimes it takes a while to happen. So you might think you're in the clear, and so I wanted to go ahead and play it, but I'm sure everybody here has seen it. I mean, it's just playing so many times, and it's been going on since what, November, December,
Christmas night.
So it was like 5-6 months already, and it's still playing, right? I still see it. I saw it
in certain parts, but the major push has ended, and I mean, you just have to. You have to always be prepared for what comes your way, right? Like people think, I don't hate the narrative, but it's not accurate when people say we're back in the limelight and we're back, like a phoenix rising from the ashes and all these narratives of the comeback.
You were never gone.
It has never been a comeback. This is not that type of story. This is a story of perseverance. This is a story of steadfastness. This is a story of hustle. This is a story of never giving up. This is a story of switching your thinking to be successful. This is a story of learning how to learn. This is a story of taking everything you've got within you and never giving up and achieving everything you want in life. And I have been doing that all of my life. That's why I've always been successful. And the key to it is that you can't expect anything in return. You just have to hustle, throw it out there, plant those seeds, and then all of a sudden you look up and it comes back to you. And that's my testament for me. And you just have to be strategic and think different, right? You can't be like everyone else. I went through all the self-help books. I went through everything, right? But in the end, if you have a bunch of people thinking the same way, that hustle is diluted somewhat, right? You kind of have to go on your own to figure out things on your own, then make your custom hustle, and then you flourish, right? And if you ask everybody who's been successful, that's what they sell. They sell what they did, right? And it might not necessarily work for you, or it might necessarily work for you. You never know. But I say that because all my life, people have been telling me that I'm doing too much and that you have to do one thing and that you are a jack of trades, jack of all trades, master of none. And, you got tentacles everywhere, but you live long enough and you hustle long enough, all those tentacles become one and they serve you, right? And all those things that they said you were, jack of all trades, master of none, some of those trades you become masterful, right? And now you have a toolbox out of this world because you can solve pretty much any problem that comes your way. You're not, for me, right? I think of solutions. I'm not worried. I love when people tell me about their problems. I love when people complain. I love when people give me excuses because they've just given me gifts. Because I'm going to figure out 5 ways to be successful off of your every excuse, and then put it in my, I don't have a tool belt. I don't have a tool box. I have a tool shed, right? And you walk in my tool shed, basically I got a Ace Hardware. You walk in my spot, you're going to be like, what's that for? That's to solve this problem. What's that for? Well, if you do this jam, you do this, right? That's the way to think. If you're always complaining, always, worried about the problems, always worried about everything else, you can't you can't move forward. You're always moving backward and you're stuck. And one of the ways I do that is, if you got a problem, think about the most fantastical, pie in the sky, far-fetched solution you could think of, right? And you got it in your mind, and that's the solution. Now, that might be impractical and that might be far-fetched, but then you start inching your way back to practicality. And now you're halfway there because you get back to a point where, wait a minute, I could do that. Okay, let me do that. And then you keep inching along, and next thing you know, you've achieved your goal. And that's what happens. Now, it takes time. That's why it can't be any quid pro quo. You have to keep hustling. You gotta play offense. If LeBron James misses 20 shots, he's gonna shoot 60 more. If he misses those 60, he's gonna keep shooting. He's not gonna stop. Then all of a sudden he's gonna start hitting, and then he's gonna look, not look back, and he's gonna win 4 championships in a row. Right. So that's how that works. And you just have to relish all those opportunities to get better. Right. And that's just what I have done throughout my whole career. And, I've learned so many things. I'm a licensed commodities broker. I learned how to basically be a paralegal because we were in a legal situation, right? I had to do it on my own. There was a book that I was reading like in the 2000s. I can't remember the name, but I remember the story. It was a guy who wanted to own a pie shop, and he started working at a pie store. And at that pie store, he learned how to do all the things to run a pie shop. Then he quit, opened his own pie shop. Then he franchised that pie shop. And then he sold that pie shop, sold that pie company for $20 million. And that's always been my mindset. It's called getting in the corridor. And being a DJ in the club, I decided, let me make a business plan to show my boss that I can increase their bottom line. And that's what I did. Learned how to put together a business plan, then gave a PowerPoint presentation. And my boss cut me a check for $25,000 and said, get started. I was the marketing manager because I'm not just the DJ. I'm your light tech. I'm your sound tech. I do your flyers. I do your TV commercials. I do your voiceover. I do your radio commercials. I take all the pictures of all the girls. I do I do all the retouching. I have made myself invaluable, right? And
that makes you unique in that way.
Yeah. And for those who are stuck in dead-end jobs and are complaining about their job, you're missing an opportunity to become invaluable. Because when you come invaluable, you don't only serve the company. You might see it as, oh, I'm not doing all that extra stuff for them. You're not doing all that extra stuff for them. You're doing it for you. You're developing your skills. So if you do get fired or if you do decide to leave, you're a better person than when you left and when you came in, right? And they won't let you leave, right? They will not let you leave if you make yourself invaluable. So any situation you're in life, think of the reverse and don't hate it, but find the things in that company that you could do extra that make you happy, that you want to learn about, and use the company to learn about those things, but then apply it to the company and make yourself invaluable. I've been doing that my whole life. It's not just being a good employee. You got to make it to where they can't do it without you. And if they do it without you, it's going to be hard, right? Because, everybody's replaceable, but after a certain amount of time, I've always been like a free agent. I've always been like a consultant because I'm always learning different things. And then when you start finding things when you're invaluable, you start saying, hey, I think I want to expand on this voiceover thing. Then you start taking lessons. You're like, hey, I want to expand on SEO. Now I know SEO and search engine optimization, and I know how to make websites, and I know how to, I know all these things because I didn't give up. I kept hustling and I applied them to everything that I was doing at the time. So now I'm self-sufficient. And if I decide to outsource, I don't have to hire somebody. I can train somebody because I know it because it's custom to me. Right.
Right.
So now, the beauty of my situation is maybe in the early 2000s, I realized that, Won't There It Is going to be a forever hit record because, it was iffy. It was like, okay, it's going to die this year. It's going to die this year.
They play it on movies too. So
yeah. So I'm sitting in the movie theater and I'm watching Will Ferrell dance to Whoop There It Is in Elf.
Elf, right?
That's when I knew that Whoop There It Is would be evergreen. And I will have a forever hit record, and it is my responsibility to make my paper,
Right.
regardless
And once it's a movie's and in a Christmas movie, that's always playing every season, right?
That's every year. And
Yeah.
every kid is gonna know about it. Every adult is gonna know about it. And that song is gonna subliminally stay in people's minds forever because it's playing in movies, television, stadiums, every sporting event, they play that song. So you can't escape it, and people love it. And I just have kept trudging along and developing all these skills. And the things that I thought, we all think that we miss opportunities in life. We all think that we make mistakes and they can't be corrected. We all think I might be a little too old to do that, but that's just bull, right? Because I've learned that there are no mistakes.
And let me ask you a question on that. Like in this show, we talk a lot about breaking limiting beliefs and
Mhm,
and how to strategies and overcoming challenges and
mhm.
obstacles. Now, what challenges did you face early on in your career as a hip hop artist, and then moving on?
It's not necessarily challenges. It's more of I got one of the biggest records in the history of recorded music, and I'm sitting in the bowels of Disney teaching Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse how to rap.
Mm.
And that started my voiceover career, but it was delayed for 15 years because I wasn't ready. See, sometimes we aren't ready. It's not that we didn't try or we didn't do this. We're just not ready. And that's why I say we beat ourselves up on those things because that's what we do. But what I realize is that, wait a minute, you can go correct that mistake. You can go, I beat myself over voiceover for years, because I thought I could have been doing this, but there's no way I could have been doing it because my mind wasn't there. But look at me now. I just signed with one of the biggest voiceover agencies in the world last month, right? And what I thought I missed out on, I'm doing on the level of mastery now, right? So it takes time. Some
Makes
things
sense.
take time. I was in the office of the president of New Line Cinema, and they were my manager and him went to college together, and he's like, yeah, if you want to act, we can really put you in a movie. Working on this one now. It's our first movie, and we're casting LL Cool J and Wesley Snipes for the lead. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, cool. All right, I'll do it if you want me to, because I don't know what this is, right? But
Mhm.
as I get older and realize what that opportunity was, it used to just make me nauseous because that was the casting for Blade, right?
Wow.
And I'm sitting in the office with the president of the company. I'm hobnobbing with the president of Columbia Records for the Adams Family. Like all these opportunities, I used to beat myself over that I thought I missed. Now,
Mhm.
2020, I've shot 2 movies, 3 TV shows, about to start another TV show next week, and here comes GEICO. 2020
Oh,
is the best year of my life.
amazing. I'm looking at IMDb and looking at your filmography and the credits. Let me just say a few of the. I mean, it's amazing. Like you have credits in The Simpsons,
Yep.
the Geico commercial, Perfect Harmony, Abdominal, Set It Up, Everything Sucks. That's a TV series. Boo 2, Medea Halloween, Fortnite video game. Wow.
And the beauty is that I audition for a lot of these companies and a lot of those people who make those movies, and they don't know who I am because I want to get my acting has to come from mastery, not because of who I am. I rarely tell people who I am, and they don't know me because this is how I carry myself.
Mhm.
I carry myself as a regular person, right? Because I don't need that. I want you to pick me for my craft, right? Before
Yeah.
my mask. That means more to me than anything. And I could care less about the money. I could care less about the fame. It's about just obtaining that mastery. Like I've listened to all the self-help stuff. I went through Anthony Robbins, Robert T. Kiyosaki back in the day when they first started, right? I was with them the whole way. And it influenced me, right? But there's no way you can apply all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because we are who we are, and it takes thinking different, trying to find solutions for problems, understanding human nature. That's why I do 5 or 6 of these podcasts a day and interviews, because I learn more through talking.
Mhm.
And you have to learn how to learn. It's not enough to learn. You got to learn how to learn. Perfect example. If I get a long email, you know how we get a long email. It's like, man, I get this long email. You procrastinate about reading it, but not me. I dump it right in the AI, and now the AI reads it to me. And now I'm checking all my other emails. If I catch something catches my ear, I'm listening, but I'm doing 3, 4 things at one time, but I'm listening. It catches my ear. Now I'm reading it. It's reading it back to me. Now I'm retaining more information that I would have ever retained from it. Learn how to learn, right? I mean, we're in a pandemic. I keep saying I hate to say it, but I don't, because I lost people too. But pandemic was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because it allowed everybody to stop at the same time. We are all in the Serengeti together. And I had to figure out what I was going to do because I couldn't do shows, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, but I could do this.
Right.
And I reinvented myself with voiceover. And I had been working, I've been doing things, I've been making money, but until I reinvented myself and went back and heard myself start in 2010 and then went through all those lessons again and just was real horrified at how I sounded and what I looked like and what I sounded like, right? I realized that because I didn't quit, I understood what those coaches were trying to tell me. And I said, let me do this over. And when I did it over and listened to it, it was angelic because for the first time I had mastery over my voice. And I have not looked back. Right. That happened a year ago to this day when everybody thought that we was gonna all turn to zombies and start eating each other. Right. So April, my acting coach, because I stay close. I hustle with my acting coaches. And she calls me, say, "Hey, I'm casting a movie. You down?" Like, you bet. Hey, what's up? Where I gotta be? I got a hazmat suit, and I shot my first movie, My Corona. Right? Shot my second movie. Man, booked the Tyler Perry House of Pain. Then booked the voiceover for Public's Christmas campaign. Then here comes GEICO. Right?
Amazing.
And all this is because I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I played offense and I didn't expect anything back. Right. It's not a quid pro quo. You don't plant a seed, sit down and say, oh, seed, okay, seed, grow. Come on, seed, grow. Grow, seed, grow. Man, this seed don't work. I quit. Now that's not real, but we know people who think like that. Right. They go take a class or they read a book and they think they can do it and then they don't do it. And then you talk to them 6 months later, like, what happened? I thought you was, nah, that don't work. It ain't for me. Right. And you can't do that. You got to plant them seeds and keep moving and keep planting seeds. And I planted so many seeds in my life that I stand before you in a forest of opportunity I could have never imagined, all because of my hustle, right? And
That's
sometimes it takes that long. Like when you're doing it, you don't think about it, right? But everybody has to go through this. Even if you're successful, there's always going to be another peak that you want to climb. There's always going to be another mountain, right? There's always going to be further. And that's what I'm dealing with. And then when you have those little hiccups in life where you're in a pandemic and you get a Geico commercial, but usually when you get a Geico commercial, you're on tour, but we can't tour because we're in a pandemic. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to take these lemons, going to make me a lemonade company. I'm going to franchise it, going to sell it for $20 million. That's my mindset. So I said, I'm gonna get a publicist. Try to get a publicist. Nobody wanted to work with me because we're in a pandemic. We're doing things weird and different. We don't know how to deal with it. I said, okay. And this is my number one learn how to learn hustle tactic. Whenever I get stuck, I join an organization, society, or association because they are filled with professionals who are masterful at their profession and have been doing it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So all you got to do is sign up for that organization. I signed up for the Public Relations Society of America. 2 days in, I'm on the Zoom call with the CEO of this PR firm, and I'm like, raise my hand, I'm like, hey, our press release is still relevant. They're like, what's it for? I'm like, I got a Geico commercial. Scoop, there it is. Looking at the chat, they're like, oh my God, it's him. Oh, that's the greatest commercial ever. Oh my, I love that commercial. blew the chat up, right? And the moderator is like, so is this press release valid? Are they valid? That's a good question. And she was like, heck yeah, because the whole last year has been COVID. You see how that paradigm shifted? Every story was about COVID. Everything was about political. Everything was just gloom and doom. And then here you guys come throwing sprinkles and spinning scoops and eating ice cream and making everybody laugh and smiling and having a good time and partying like we used to do in 1993. Drop that press release. I dropped that press release 5 days before the Super Bowl. That Friday, I'm on the Dan Patrick Show, Nashville.
Wow.
2 weeks later, I'm on the Tamron Hall Show, daytime ABC. I'm doing interview podcast after podcast, and then everything is it has opened doors for me that I could have never imagined, and is the reason you and I are talking right now. Right? You see how that paradigm shifted? I didn't just want to do shows. This is open things for me. There are like 3 things I want to talk to you about right now, and I can't because I'm on a non-disclosure agreement. Right? That's how good. And it's not. I could have sat back and just had a GEICO commercial, but I didn't do that. 2 weeks ago, we're grand marshals for a NASCAR race for the Talladega 500.
Yep.
Grand marshals.
That's a.
Come on, man. I dropped a press release on that. 2 days later, I get signed with a big voiceover agency. People see those things. Everybody I talked to, I said, well, how'd you see? I saw the press release. Because every time I drop a press release, 300 entities pick it up, right? 300, not only do 300 entities pick it up and blow it up and throw it out there, but what they don't realize is that there's 2 sides of this. I'm doing this for SEO purposes too. So that's 300 entities that are reading about DC, the Brain Supreme, a tag team and my acting and all the things, because a press release for me is a Trojan horse for me. And not only am I doing that, but now I got 300 do follow links back to my website. And now my website is a nuclear power engine that can power anything I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yep. And that will bring other opportunities.
That brings
it's all connected. Yeah.
Building DC Glen now. And everything I know how to do, from from acting to voiceover to ADR to, I basically have a PR firm now, but I only like doing it for me. I've had 5 or 6 opportunities to do PR for somebody, but that's not my passion. But it's my passion doing it for me, right? Or doing it for tag team. We just had a show this last weekend. Now we're starting to get shows. Now it's getting ugly because everything's opening back up. Now we're probably going to be gone forever doing shows on the weekends, right? And, it's all because of the hustle, man. It's all because you don't give up. It's all because your mindset is like, there's more I can get. Right now, everybody's waiting for it to come back the way it used to be. And if you're waiting for it to come back the way it used to be, you're going to be sitting around waiting for it to come back the way it used to be. And I am looking forward into this brand new world, new frontier of everything I want.
That's very optimistic, very, very good outlook that you have. Yep.
That's the only way. That's the only way I can see it. I can't see it any other way because everything has changed, right? If you think about it. When the pandemic first started, what was it? It was what? Skype and Zoom a little bit. Now look at it. We got 15 platforms. I'm on different platforms every day. Right? The whole game has changed. Everything has changed. You can do things yourself now. People are starting to realize that. There are some people who are flourishing in this time, right? Because that's what it takes. This is, like I said, we are all in the Serengeti. We are all here. What are you going to be, predator or prey? You're going to be an alligator, you're going to be an impala. What you going to be? And that's how I see it. And I can't see it any other way. And I have control of my emotions too. Like, I know how to sequester my ego and my pride. I know how to not argue into rabbit holes and just go and take, get control of my emotions so I don't get lost like a lot of people are. Because I've acquired the ability to take my emotions, any negative emotions, fear, anger, envy, sadness, hate, despair, put it in my pocket and use it for later as fuel. So whenever you need it, you can pull it out your pocket and say, okay, this is why I can finish this. This is why I can do this. This is why I'm not going to give up. This is the reason for this. you don't keep it in, you get to use it later, right? Like I got an acting audition tomorrow, and it calls for me to be angry. And I was arguing with this girl last week. She pissed me off. And now I don't have to be a character or a caricature. I pull that up in the Rolodex, and now the character becomes me based in reality. That's what makes better acting, right? I do that with voiceover. So you find things that are negative and you turn them into positives, and everything things you do in your life, and your life will be better. You will think more positive. You will find solutions. They will start falling out of the sky, hitting you on the head like hail, and you will be successful.
So, what would you say for somebody that maybe is interested in doing any one of these things that you're doing? Voiceover acting. Let's say voiceover. Somebody who's interested in that, or acting or commercials. How do they? How would they start? Where will you put them? What direction?
I join an organization.
Okay.
See, you don't even got to join an organization. Just go to organization's website, right? If they're like there's SOVAS, SOVAS, Society of Voice Artists. I can't remember the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
But SOVAS is all about voiceover. You got World Voices, which is a society, right? And all you got to do is go to that website and call every number in that website and ask all the questions you need to ask, and you will know pretty much everything about voiceover and where you need to get started in 2 weeks. That's how I used to learn stuff back in the day. Like I would. That's the only time I used tag team. I wanted to start a hedge fund. Didn't know what a hedge fund was. So I said, well, let me call some hedge fund managers and see, what a hedge fund is. And, maybe I could get a meeting. Start calling some hedge funds. And I'm DC of tag team. Hey, whoop, there it is. I got Dominic Williams. I got Prime Time. I got money to control. I want to start a hedge fund. Can I get a meeting? Yeah, you can get a meeting. So I'm in New York, LA, Vegas, San Francisco. I go to Vegas. I'm in the boardroom with these people, not knowing anything about a hedge fund. And I asked the question, why should I let you manage my hedge fund? They're like, oh, DC, because of this, 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 and this. And if you do this, our returns are this and our this and this and this. And what they don't realize is while they're pitching me, they're teaching me. Learn how to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned what a hedge fund was, and I realized it wasn't for me because I'm too emotional about gambling. And that's what it is, like intellectual gambling to me. Now, there's a way to do it, but my way is a little bit slower because I was a trader. You know what I'm saying? I understand I can't do it. It's too difficult for me, right? There's some things but then they're collateral. I call them collateral sprinkles. They're unintended consequences of things. 2000, I didn't know what they were talking about on CNBC, right? 2002 and beyond, I know everything they say, and I can follow any story that is on CNBC and understand it with clarity because I know about money now. Truly know about money. And I'm always investing. I always got things locked in. And you pull a little bit and put it away, and you always got money, right? So if you're thinking about doing something, join an organization. You can learn about it in 2 weeks. I guarantee you.
There you have it. DC Glenn, this has been. I mean, I'm very impressed. I like your attitude. I like how positive you are. And I can see, if you're watching this, I see some people watch the replay. DC mentioned a lot of good nuggets of based on his experience. You just don't give up. The hustle, there's opportunities. There's not problems. There's just opportunities, right? Something presents itself. You just, you open your eyes and
to be solved.
Yeah.
So why not you solve them?
Why not you, right? Somebody will. Why not you? And cash in on that.
You just have to think differently, right? You could just never. It's just never no room for giving up, man. If I start something, I know I'm gonna finish it through. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be gut wrenching. I'm just as lazy as everybody else, right? Yeah. But I do it anyway. I've learned to do it anyway. Just get up, put your socks and shoes on, go to the gym. Just do it anyway. Because I always got I call him Monsieur Saboteur. Saboteur sitting on my shoulder. And he's a good employee. He be putting in work. He be trying to hold me up.
We all have that
sometimes, right? But I know I'm not gonna give up. And if I didn't go to the gym today, I'm gonna go twice tomorrow. I'm gonna go in the morning, I'm gonna go in the evening. I'm gonna get back on it. Like the pandemic changed a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
They were already there, but having to stop and think about your own thoughts and understand and survive, right? Survive was a whole different ball game. And I'm not saying survive in the sense of, I actually am, because everybody was scared. But to be able to survive and thrive, right? Man, it changed everything because everything changed.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. So everything is new. So it's not like it was. It's not like what we used to do.
Yeah.
The traditional ways are cool, but when I tell people the things that I'm about to do, they're like, whoa. And the one thing I hear from everybody when I finish these, when I talk to people, wherever I go, man, I never thought about it that way. And that's my goal, is to not leave this earth without, not leave this earth wishing that, or regretting that I didn't do something. And just to talk to people and tell them the things that I wish somebody had told me when I was a young man, because that's where the blessings come from. I get more out of talking to people than I do reading books and all of that. I've done all that. For me, it's just about talking to people, doing these podcasts, hashing things out in my mind, coming up with new ways to do things. I came up with 5 new ideas in this podcast, right? So I want to thank you for having me on, because you made me a better man than I was an hour ago. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Glenn, DC Glenn, for being here and sharing your time and your experience and everything that you shared with us. It gives me, it was a fresh outlook. I really I like your attitude. I like your goal. You're a hustler. You just get it done, and you're full of energy. And as long as you have your mind and your health,
yep,
you're using it, and it's just the beginning, right? This is just the beginning. You have all these things ahead of you.
25 again. I swear.
Yeah.
I don't even. I feel, my knees would disagree, but I'm 25 again. And I have a ball. And like I said, I'm in the music production. I'm doing music theory. All the things that like I said, all those mistakes and all those things you regret, they can be corrected. It's never over.
Okay.
Go back and educate yourself and correct those mistakes in your life. You will have lived a full life, because you don't leave anything on the table. I would hate to pass and just wish I had did something and it just ate at me. That's no way to live.
That's a good way to end the show, with that right there.
Yeah.
You can fix that. DC Glenn, thank you again. I appreciate you for being here.
Got it.
All right, so this is it. This has been episode number 32 of the Mindset of Steel live show with our special guest, DC Glenn. Until next time, take care, DC Glenn. Bye.
Peace. Sprinkles.